You keep saying you'll start tomorrow. You keep telling yourself there's time, but what if tomorrow doesn't come? What if the opportunity you've been praying for is right in front of you right now and you miss it because you're waiting on the perfect moment? I came to tell you, tomorrow might be too late. You keep treating life like you got a guarantee, but let me break it to you. You don't. People die every day with books unwritten, businesses unbuilt, dreams unfulfilled, and love unspoken. Why? Because they thought they had time. Stop playing games with your gift. Stop negotiating with your purpose. Time don't wait for nobody. While you're hesitating, somebody out there is grinding. Somebody's waking up at 4 a.m., sacrificing sleep, turning down parties, saying no to distractions because they know that tomorrow isn't promised. Oh, if you knew you had 24 hours left, what would you do differently? Would you still hit the snooze button? Would you still waste time scrolling? Would you still say, I'll do it next week? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. You move with passion. You move with passion. You say what needs to be said. You do what you've been putting off. So why not live every day like that? You say you want it, but your actions don't match your words. You say you want to be great, but you're moving like it's optional. Greatness is not for the chosen few. It's for the committed. Commitment doesn't start tomorrow. It starts right now. Don't wait for the wake-up call to come in the form of tragedy. Wake yourself up today. Get serious about your life today. Start writing that book. Go to the gym. Launch that business. Say, I love you. Forgive them. Because tomorrow might be too late. This moment, right now, is all you have. Use it. Own it. Master it. You don't get another life. You don't get another shot at this day. So stop hesitating, stop delaying, and stop procrastinating because tomorrow might not come. If it doesn't, will you be proud of how you live today? You keep saying you got time. You keep pushing your goals to the side, telling yourself you'll get to them tomorrow, next week, or next year. Oh, but the truth is, time isn't something you control. Time is not guaranteed. There's no clock in the sky counting down your days, no calendar with a circle around your expiration date. You live like you got 100 years to figure it out, but you don't even know if you'll wake up tomorrow. That's the truth. That's reality. We're out here living like life is promised, but nothing about it is. Not your next breath, not the next sunrise, not even the next moment. You keep thinking you'll start the business next month, you'll apply for school next semester, you'll fix your relationship when the timing is better. But while you're planning and plotting and putting everything off, life is happening. People are moving. Opportunities are shifting. The world isn't waiting on you. The universe isn't holding its breath while you sleep in and hit the snooze button for the 5th time. While you're wasting precious hours scrolling through social media or watching TV, someone else is grinding. Someone else is treating today like it's their last shot. Because for them, maybe it is. And if we're being honest, for you, maybe it is too. You act like you got a backup life waiting for you. Like if you mess this one up, you'll just hit reset. But life doesn't work like that. There's no do-over, no rewind button. Every minute you let pass without intention is a minute you can't get back. You think you're playing it safe by waiting until the time is right. But the truth is that time may never come. There is no perfect moment. There's only now. And now it's slipping through your fingers while you stand still, hoping for a sign. But the sign is right in front of you. The fact that you're alive, that you're breathing, that you still have the ability to change, that's the sign. That's the miracle. People talk about fear. They say they're scared to fail, scared to start, scared to not be good enough. But you should be more afraid of regret. You should be terrified of waking up one day and realizing it's too late. That you spend your time chasing comfort instead of chasing purpose. That you traded your calling for convenience. You should be afraid of the moment you look back and realize you were given time and you wasted it. You were given a gift and you never unwrapped it. You were given breath and you didn't do anything meaningful with it. That's the fear you need to fear. Not fear of failure, but fear of never trying. Time is not your friend. Time will keep ticking whether you're grinding or sleeping, whether you're building or breaking, whether you're running toward your dream or hiding from it. The clock doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your circumstances. Time doesn't pause for pain, for setbacks, for heartbreak. It just keeps going. And if you're not moving with it, you're falling behind. Not behind other people, behind your own potential, behind the version of yourself that you could have become if you had just started, if you had just believed, if you had just stopped waiting. You don't know how much time you have left. You think you do, but you don't. That's what makes life precious. That's what makes this moment sacred. Because it's all you've got right now, this second. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to waste it thinking about what you could do, or are you going to add? Are you going to add? Keep talking about your dream, or are you finally going to start living it? You've been given time, yes, but not an unlimited supply. Every day you wake up is another chance, another opportunity, but it's also one less day on your clock. That's not something to fear. That's something to fuel you, something to wake you up, to light that fire in your soul. Because when you realize how fragile time is, you stop wasting it. You stop taking people for granted. You stop putting your gift on the shelf. You stop saying someday and start saying someday and start saying today. So many people wish they had your time. People in hospital beds, people who didn't make it to see another day, they would give anything for the chance you're holding right now. And you're just sitting on it, squandering it, talking yourself out of it. That has to stop. That mindset has to change. Because the truth is, nobody owes you more time. Every second you get is a blessing. You either use it or you lose it. It's that simple. The people who win in life aren't always the smartest. They're not always the most talented. But they understand one thing. Time is their most valuable asset. They don't waste it. They don't play with it. They use it like it matters, because it does. They wake up every day with urgency, with focus, with fire. Not because they have to, but because they understand tomorrow might be too late. Procrastination kills purpose. It doesn't just delay your success. Slowly strangles your potential. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, you're pushing your purpose further into the shadows. You're allowing hesitation to build walls between you and the life you were meant to live. You weren't created to live in pause. You weren't designed to sit on your gifts. But procrastination convinces you to settle. It tells you that you have time, that you can afford to wait, that there will always be another opportunity. And that's a lie. Purpose requires movement. It requires decision. It demands that you act even when you don't feel ready, even when you're scared, even when the outcome is uncertain. But most people never walk in their purpose because they keep procrastinating. They think their dream can wait. They think that because they have the desire, they've done enough. But desire without action is nothing. A dream with no hustle is just a wish. And your purpose can't be fulfilled off wishes alone. You have to work. You have to push. You have to get uncomfortable. There are people walking around with greatness inside them, but you never know it because they buried it under layers of delay and distraction. They keep waiting for the perfect time, but the perfect time never comes. They say they'll get serious next year, after the holidays, after things calm down, but life never stops moving. The distractions never disappear. There will always be a reason to delay if you're looking for one. But purpose doesn't wait for your comfort. Purpose shows up whether you're ready or not. And it whispers a let's go. If you keep ignoring that whisper, eventually it fades. You were born for something greater than excuses. You were built with a calling, a mission that only you can fulfill. But every time you procrastinate, you insult your calling. You tell it that it's not important. You tell it that something else, a video, a nap, another hour of scrolling, is more valuable. And over time, that calling becomes quiet. Not because it disappears, but because your inaction has drowned it out. Some of the most talented people in the world will never be known. Not because they didn't have the skills, but because they never took the first step. That's what procrastination does. It tricks you into thinking you can coast through life, that greatness will somehow just happen. But greatness doesn't find you on a couch. Purpose doesn't show up while you're stalling. You have to go get it. You have to chase it. You have to wake up and decide, I'm done waiting. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having it all figured out. It's about doing something today that moves you closer to where you're supposed to be. You don't need a master plan. You need action. One step, one decision, 1 hour of focused effort. That's how you start breaking the grip of procrastination. You show up even when you don't feel like it. You do the work even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Because discipline is what builds purpose, not feelings. And if you let your feelings run the show, procrastination will always win. The saddest thing is not failure, it's potential wasted. It's talent unused. It's purpose ignored. You don't want to wake up one day, Ed, and realize you never became who you were supposed to be. Not because you couldn't, but because you wouldn't. You wouldn't start. You wouldn't commit. You wouldn't push. And the worst part, you knew. Deep down, you knew what you were called to do. You knew there was more in you, but you chose delay over destiny. That's the real loss. Time doesn't care about your reasons. It doesn't pause for your doubts. Every second you spend hesitating is a second you could have been building, and no one's gonna do it for you. No one's coming to drag you into your purpose. You have to rise up. You have to fight back against every thought that says, I'll do it later. Later's not promised. The clock is ticking, and the longer you wait, the harder it gets to start. You think you have time, but the truth is time is running out. Not in a dramatic way, just in a real quiet way. The days are passing, the opportunities are slipping. The world is changing. And if you don't move, you'll be left behind, not by others, but by your own potential. That's the danger of procrastination. It's not loud, it's not violent, it's quiet, it's subtle. It makes you feel like you're safe, like you're just taking a break. But really, it's stealing your future 1 minute at a time. You weren't created to delay, you were created to dominate, to lead, to build, to grow. But that only happens when you stop waiting for the right time and start using the time you've got. This moment right now is powerful. Don't let procrastination steal. Don't let another day pass with your purpose locked inside of you. Because every time you do, you kill procrastination. Live with urgency, not comfort. That's the mindset that separates those who talk about success from those who actually achieve it. Too many people are addicted to comfort. They build their lives around ease, safety, and routine, thinking that if they can just avoid struggle, they'll somehow find success. But that's not how it works. Growth lives outside of comfort. Purpose lives in pressure. You don't evolve by staying in your comfort zone. You evolve by breaking out of it, by doing what's hard, by pushing yourself when no one's watching. Comfort is a trap. It feels good in the moment, but it steals your future. It makes you believe that staying still is better than moving forward with risk. But the truth is, risk is part of the journey. You can't avoid it and expect to grow. You have to lean into it. You have to embrace the unknown, even when it scares you. Living with urgency means waking up every day, knowing that your time is limited and your purpose can't wait. It means moving with intention, with passion, with hunger, because you understand that tomorrow is not guaranteed. When you live for comfort, you settle. You start accepting less than what you're capable of. You start telling yourself that good enough is enough. But deep down, you know it's not. Deep down, there's a fire that won't die, no matter how much you try to silence it with convenience. That fire is your calling. And it's only fed by effort, by discipline, by action. Comfort can't feed your calling. It can't satisfy your purpose. Only urgency can do that. Urgency isn't panic. It's not rushing. It's clarity. It's knowing what matters and refusing to waste time on what doesn't. It's showing up with focus, not just going through the motions. It's working like every second counts, because it does. You don't get to hit rewind. You don't get to relive today. So if you're not using it, you're losing it. You're losing. And when you really grasp that, you stop waiting for motivation and start showing up with consistency. People who live with urgency don't make excuses. They don't blame the weather, the economy, their past, or their situation. They take ownership. They say, if it's going to happen, it's on me. And they move, they act, they hustle, because they know that no one is coming to save them. No one is going to hand them the life they want. It has to be earned. And earning something means giving your all, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. When you live with urgency, your priorities shift. You stop spending time on things that drain you. You stop giving your energy to people who don't support your vision. You start guarding your time like it's treasure, because it is. You start asking, is this moving me closer to my purpose or pulling me away from it? If it's not serving your mission, you cut it off. Not because you're cold, not because you're selfish, but because your life has meaning and you don't have time to waste it on distractions. Comfort says, take it easy. Urgency says, get to work. Comfort says, you've done enough for today. Urgency says, there's more in you. Keep going. Comfort will always offer you a way out. Urgency will always push you toward a way forward. And when you start choosing urgency, your entire life changes. You get sharper, stronger, more disciplined, more focused. You start making progress, not because it's easy, but because you refuse to settle for less. Living with urgency also means living with purpose. You stop letting random things steal your attention. You stop letting fear dictate your decision. You stop letting the opinions of others hold you back because you know what you're here for. You know that your time is short and your impact can be massive, but only if you act now, not later, now. You don't have time to waste proving yourself to people who don't believe in you. You don't have time to carry bitterness or regret. You've got work to do, lives to impact, a legacy to build. That requires urgency, not comfort. Success doesn't show up for people who sit around waiting. It shows up for people who chase it, who sacrifice for it, who commit to it every single day. And that level of commitment doesn't come from comfort. It comes from hunger, from drive, from urgency. Every breakthrough you want is on the other side of discomfort. And the only way to get there is to go through it, not around it, not past it, but through it. Comfort feels good now, but it costs you later. It sinks you later. Urgency might cost you now early mornings, late nights, hard choices. Live is all for the rest of your life. That's the difference. That's the choice you have to make daily. Will you give in to comfort or you rise with urgency? Will you stay where it's easy or will you step into the challenge and chase the life you were born to live? No one's going to force you. No one's going to drag you into purpose. It's on you. You decide if today matters. You decide if your dream is worth the effort. Your future depends on what you do today. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today, the choices you make right now are writing the story of your life. And whether you realize it or not, you are either building the life you want or delaying it with every decision. Too many people live like they can press pause on life, like they can skip a day or two and still expect results. But life doesn't work like that. Life rewards the ones who show up, who put in the work today, who don't wait for the right move, the perfect situation, or outside validation to act. What you do today is the seed of what you will harvest tomorrow. You can't expect greatness if you're planting laziness. You can't expect success if you're feeding your day with distraction and delay. Every single day you have is an opportunity. And every opportunity you waste is one you'll never get back. That's the reality. You only get so many days, so many chances. And the truth is, you never know which one will be your last. That's why today matters more than you think. The small steps you take today might seem insignificant, but over time, they stack up. Every moment is a brick, and the actions you take today are laying the foundation of your future. People talk about where they want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, but they don't want to talk about what they're doing today. That's the disconnect. You don't get to your dream life by dreaming hard. You get there by working harder, by staying consistent, by doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it, by staying committed when it's boring, when it's tough, when no one's clapping for you. Your future doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about your actions. The habits you build today will determine the doors that open for you later. It's easy to blame the past. It's easy to point to where you came from, who hurt you, what you didn't have, and use that as an excuse to stay where you are. But excuses don't build future. Responsibility does. Ownership does. Discipline does. You can't change your past, but you can change your next move. You can choose to do better, be better, act different. And when you make that choice daily, when you say, I'm going to give this day everything I've got, you begin to take control of your future one moment at a time. Nobody becomes great on accident. Nobody wakes up successful without putting in the work. That success you admire, that life you want, it was built on 1,000 days of sacrifice, 1,000 early morning, 1,000 times choosing effort over comfort. You see the result, but you don't always see the process. And the process is always grounded in today, in doing the work even when it's inconvenient, in showing up with purpose when it would be easier to quit. You don't get to skip steps. You don't get to fast forward. You have to do it now. And don't let the size of your goal paralyze you. Don't get overwhelmed by how far you have to go. Focus on what you can do today. The journey isn't one in a day. It's one day by day. The future is just a collection of your todays. So stop stressing about next year and start being excellent in this moment. What can you control right now? What decision can you make that aligns with who you want to become? That's where the power is. That's how you take back control. The future is shaped by your daily habits, by your consistency, by your decisions to show up over and over again. You don't need to wait for a Monday or a new year to start moving. That's just another excuse in disguise. All you need is today. Today is your chance. Today is your opportunity. You can waste it, or you can use it to change the trajectory of your life. There are people who would give anything for another today. People who don't get the privilege of time anymore. And here you are holding a day with breath in your lungs and power in your hands. Don't take that for granted. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. You can't keep repeating yesterday and expect a different outcome. You have to make today count. You have to show up different, speak different, move different, because your future is waiting for the version of you who is willing to act right now. Not the version who makes excuses, not the one who keeps waiting, but the one who wakes up and says, let's get it. Your dreams are possible. Your goals are within reach. But they only become real when you treat today like it matters, like it's the most important day of your life. Because it is. It's the only one you've got. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow isn't here yet. All you can work with is today. So work with it, build with it, push with it, give everything to it. Because what you do today is the beginning of everything you're hoping for. Your future depends on it. Someone else is grinding while you're sleeping, while you're hitting snooze, while you're saying, I'll do it later. There's somebody out there who's already up. They're already moving, already working on their dream. They're not more talented than you. They're not more gifted. But they've made a decision that they will not be outworked. And that decision is making all the difference. See, you think you got time, but every second you delay, someone else is taking advantage of that time. Someone else is gaining ground. Someone else is using the same 24 hours. You have to chase what they want relentlessly. Time is the great equalizer. Everyone gets the same amount. The question is, what are you doing with yours? It's easy to believe you're the only one trying. It's easy to sit in your bubble and tell yourself you're doing enough. But the truth is, someone out there is doing more. Not because they have more, but because they wanted more. They're sacrificing sleep, comfort, fun, and distraction because they've got vision. They've got drive. They've made up their mind that they will not lose because they didn't give everything. That kind of hunger is what separates the good from the great, the ordinary from the extraordinary. You think it's okay to take it slow, to wait for the right time, to give average effort and expect phenomenal results. But there's someone out there putting in reps every day, not because they feel like it, but because they understand the value of now. They understand that every missed day is a missed opportunity. That one skipped workout, that one project they didn't touch, that one morning they slept in, that's ground lost. And they refuse to lose ground because they know what's at stake. They know dreams don't wait. They know success doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to grind. There's a person who wants what you want. They've got a similar dream. Maybe they even started with less. But they've decided they're going to put in the work regardless of the circumstances. They're not making excuses. They're not talking about how hard life is. They're not blaming their background, their past, or their pain. They're using all of it as fuel. Every no they've heard, every door that closed, every failure they've experienced, it's all pushing them hard. And while you're sitting back trying to figure out the perfect plan, they're out there executing a simple one with consistency and fire. You can't afford to take days off from your purpose. You can't afford to treat your goals like a part-time job. So, the people winning in life are not always the most skilled. They're the most consistent. They're the ones who show up every day, who don't need a crowd, who don't need applause, who don't need someone to check on them. They're self-motivated, self-driven. And every day they get up, they're closing the gap between where they are and where they want to be. While you're wondering why it hasn't happened for you yet, they're too busy grinding to worry about the outcome. They're putting in the hours, putting in the energy, building momentum. And you'll see them later. You'll see the success, the results, the spotlight, and you'll think they got lucky. But it wasn't luck. It was labor. It was sacrifice. It was choosing effort when everyone else was choosing ease. You've got to ask yourself, are you okay with being passed up? Are you okay watching someone else take the life that could have been yours? Because that's what's happening every time you slack off. Every time you tell yourself, I'll get serious tomorrow. Someone else is getting serious today. Someone else is fighting for it like their life depends on it, because to them it does. Their dream is not optional. It's not casual. It's mission critical. And they're treating it that way. Are you? This is the reality. Someone else is training harder, studying longer, practicing more, risking more. Are you willing to match that energy? Are you willing to rise up and say, I will not be outworked? Because that's the only way you're going to win. It's not about talent. It's not about what you were born with. It's about what you're willing to do with what you got. You might not be the fastest, the smartest, or the strongest, but you can be the most relentless. You got to live like there's someone out there who wants your spot. Because there is. Someone out there wants the job you're dreaming of. Someone wants the life you're picturing, the platform, the house, the success. And the only thing that's going to set you apart is your grind. How hard are you willing to go? How many excuses are you willing to eliminate? How consistent are you willing to be even when it's boring, when it's hard, when no one notices? Every second you waste, they're gaining on you. Every day you delay, they're outworking you. The truth is, if you keep waiting for motivation, you've already lost. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is what keeps you going. Don't wait for the wake-up call to come in the form of tragedy. Don't wait for something painful or devastating to shake you into action. That's what most people do. They coast through life, going through the motions, living with no urgency, no purpose, no passion, until something happens. A loss, a diagnosis, a failure that cuts deep. And suddenly they realize how short life is, how precious time is, how quickly everything can change. But by the time that wake-up call comes, sometimes it's too late to go back and fix what could have been done when there was still time. You don't have to wait for that kind of pain to open your eyes. You can decide to wake up now. You can choose awareness over regret. You can make the decision today to take your life seriously, to take your goals seriously, to take your time seriously. Why wait until your back is against the wall? Why wait till you lose someone you love to start expressing love? Why wait until your health is failing to start taking care of your body? Why wait until you're broke to start valuing discipline and planning? Don't let pain be your teacher when wisdom can guide you now. People waste years thinking they got time. They ignore the voice in their head that keeps nudging them toward more. They silence their own intuition. They tell themselves they'll with it later, they'll change later, they'll fix things later. But later is never guaranteed. Life doesn't come with warnings. Sometimes it just hits. It's not gonna give you a heads up. One phone call can change everything. One accident, one moment, and all the things you thought you had time to do suddenly become out of reach. That's why you have to live awake. Not half asleep, not halfway engaged with your own life. You have to be fully present, fully intentional, fully alive. Not just existing, not just surviving, but thriving on purpose. You can't afford to wait until you're in a hospital bed to start valuing your life. You can't afford to wait until someone walks out on you to start treating them right. You can't afford to wait until you run out of chances before you finally decide to make a change. Single moment matters. Every day you waste is a day you'll never get back. So many people wake up only after the damage is done. They wake up after they've lost something they can't replace. And then they look back and ask, why didn't I move sooner? Or why didn't I listen? Or why didn't I listen? Why did I wait so long? You don't want to be that person. You don't want to wake up with a heart full of regret, but you were too distracted, too afraid, or too lazy to act when it counted. You got breath in your lungs right now. You got the ability to choose, to change, to grow. Use that. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. Tragedy shouldn't be the alarm clock for your purpose. You don't need loss to learn gratitude. You don't need pain to find clarity. You can wake up through choice. You can wake up through discipline. You can wake up through reflection. All it takes is a moment of honesty with yourself. A moment where you stop pretending you have forever. A moment where you face your reality, your habits, your distractions, and ask, is this how I want to live? Is this what I want to leave behind? Because if the answer is no, you have the power to start changing it right now. The people who succeed aren't the ones who have perfect lives. They're the ones who decided to wake up before the crisis came. They saw the signs and made the shift. They didn't wait until rock bottom. They built from where they were. You don't need a dramatic fall to realize you need to rise. You don't need to lose it all to see what's valuable. You can open your eyes right now and take hold of your life before it slips away. It takes courage to wake up without tragedy. It takes strength to change when everything looks fine on the surface. You know what's real. You know what's lacking. You know what's waiting. You know the life you could be living if you just commit. So stop ignoring that voice. Stop numbing that feeling. Stop pushing off what you know needs to be done. Make the decision today, not because you were forced to, but because you chose to. That's real power. That's real freedom. You don't need the pain of regret to be your motivation. You can be driven by vision, by purpose, by gratitude. Be one of the few who didn't wait for life to hit them to wake up. Be one of the few who chose growth without the crisis. Because that's what separates those who merely survive from those who lead, who create, who inspire, who leave legacies. The difference isn't pain, it's the response. And you don't need tragedy to make your response powerful. You just need the courage to act before it's too late. Regret is heavier than failure. Failure stings, sure. It can knock you down, bruise your ego, and test your confidence. But regret, it lingers. It doesn't just sting for a moment, it follows you. It whispers in your ear when things are quiet. It replays the opportunities you missed, the chances you didn't take, the words you never said, the dreams you never chased. Failure is temporary, but regret is permanent. And the truth is, most people don't regret what they did. They regret what they didn't do. They regret the moments they let pass, the doors they didn't walk through, the potential they left untapped. When you try and fail, you can sleep at night knowing you gave it a shot. You can hold your head up because you stood up and took the risk. You learned something. You gained experience. You develop toughness, but when you don't even try, when you let fear, doubt, laziness, or the opinions of others stop you, that's when you start building a life that feels like a lie. That's when the weight of a what if starts to crush you. What if I had spoken up? What if I had started the business? What if I had gone back to school? What if I had committed? That's the kind of pain that eats at you for years. You think playing it safe protects you, but it really imprisons you. Every time you hold back, you lock yourself in a life that's smaller than the one you were created for. You think avoiding failure means you're winning, but all it really means is you're not growing. You're not moving. You're not stepping out. The people who win in life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who failed, learned it, adjusted, and kept going. They're the ones who refuse to let fear of failure stop them from taking action. You have to stop letting fear talk you out your future. You have to stop giving so much power to what could go wrong that you never find out what could go right. The risk of failure is real, yes, but the cost of regret is higher. You can recover from a setback. You can rebuild after loss, but you can't get time back. You can't go back and relive the days you wasted. That's why you have to act now, while you still have time, while you still have breath, while the opportunity is still in front of you. You'll never know your full capacity until you stretch yourself beyond what's comfortable. Playing it safe might keep you from embarrassment, but it also keeps you from excellence. It keeps you average. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you wondering for the rest of your life what might have happened if you had just gone all in. There are people in their 50s, 60s, even 70s who are still haunted by the choices they did make. Not because they weren't capable, but because they were scared. Because they didn't want to fail. And now they live with a heaviness that no success can outweigh. Regret weighs more because it doesn't come with blessings. It doesn't come with growth. Failure teaches you. It develops you. It builds resilience, character, and wisdom. But regret just leaves you with silence and a slow burning pain that says, you could have been more. You had more in you, but you didn't reach for it. That's the weight that drags people down. That's the burden that too many carry because they never gave themselves permission to fail. You have to redefine how you see failure. It's not the enemy. It's part of the process. Every success story you admire is built on a mountain of failure. Nobody gets it right the first time. Nobody shows up perfect. They fall, they stumble, they lose, but they keep showing up. They keep giving effort. And in time, that effort pays off. That persistence compounds. But regret comes when you quit before you start. When you let doubt silence your dreams. It's not about being fearless. It's about moving forward despite the fear. It's about being more afraid of wasting your life than you are messing up. It's about asking yourself, what's really the worst that can happen? You fail, so what? You'll get back up. You'll learn. You'll be stronger. But if you do nothing, if you wait, delay, shrink back, that's how you end up looking back at your life with a heavy heart. Knowing you settle. You don't want to look back and wonder what could have been. You want to look back knowing you left it all in the field. That you didn't hide from your potential. That you didn't bury your gifts. That you didn't spend your life living in fear of moments that never came. You want to be able to say, I gave it everything. That's what brings pride. Not perfection, not being flawless, but being fearless enough to take the shot, to make the move, to live with courage and conviction. So don't run from failure. Run from regret. Let that be your motivator. Let that be your fuel. Make the decision to live boldly, speak honestly, love deeply, and act consistently. You don't have to get it all right, but you do have to show up. You do have to try. Speak love, forgive fast, act bold, because life is too short to hold back what truly matters. Too many people live like there's always going to be another chance, another moment to make things right, to say what needs to be said, to do what needs to be done. But the truth is, you don't know how many chances you have left. You don't know when the last conversation with someone will be. You don't know when the final opportunity to take a leap will come. That's why you can't waste time holding grudges, bottling up your emotions, or waiting for the perfect moment. If you got something to say, say it. Say it. If you got love to give it. If you got a move to make it. Because hesitation often leads to regret. And silence can become a burden you carry long after the moment is past. People think strength is about being tough, about never showing emotion, about keeping everything inside. But real strength is vulnerability. Real strength is being able to speak love even when it's uncomfortable. It's being able to forgive even when it hurts. It's being able to take bold action even when you're afraid. And it takes a lot more courage to let go than to hold on. You're not weak for forgiving someone. You're not soft for loving deeply. You're not foolish for going after something with your whole heart. You're human, you're alive. And the sooner you embrace that, the more freedom you'll feel. So many people carry around anger, resentment, and bitterness, thinking it protects them. But it only poisons them. Every day you hold on to hate or pain, you're carrying a weight that keeps you from becoming your best self. Forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook. It's about releasing yourself from the prison of the past. It's about choosing peace over pride. It's about saying, I deserve freedom more than I deserve revenge. And sometimes the person you need to forgive is yourself for the things you didn't know, the mistakes you made, the moments you weren't your best. Let it go. Learn from it, grow from it, but don't stay stuck in it. You can't move forward if you're chained to your past. And when it comes to love, don't hold back. Don't let pride or fear keep you from telling people how much they mean to you. Don't assume they know. Tell them, show them, text them, hug them, remind them, because people don't always stay. That life doesn't always give you time to circle back. You don't want your love to be a memory full of things left unsaid. You want your love to be felt loud and clear while people are still here to receive it. Don't wait for funerals to say what should have been said in life. Speak love now. Speak it when it's inconvenient. Speak it when it's scary. Speak it because you may not get the chance tomorrow. Action is what separates intentions from impact. You can have the best ideas, the biggest dreams, the purest heart, but if you don't act, none of it matters. You have to move. You have to step out. You have to be bold enough to do the thing you keep thinking about. Waiting for the right moment is just another form of fear. The right moment is now. Even if you're not fully ready, even if you're unsure, even if you're scared, looks scared. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving in spite of it. Bold action isn't about recklessness. It's about refusing to live small. It's about refusing to let fear or doubt steal your one shot at this life. The people who make the biggest impact aren't the ones who always play it safe. They're the ones who take risks, who speak truth, who show love, who forgive quickly, and who move with purpose. They're not perfect, but they're authentic. They're not fearless, but they're brave. And they understand that every moment matters. That love is too valuable to withhold. That forgiveness is too powerful to delay. That action is too urgent to postpone. You've got one life. One. No rewinds, no replays, no do-overs. So speak love like it's your last chance. Forgive like your peace depends on it, because it does. And act like your purpose is waiting on the other side of your fear, because it is. You weren't made to live numb. You weren't made to stay silent. You weren't made to hold back. You were made to live full, love hard, forgive quickly, and move boldly. That's how you honor this life. That's how you make it count. So don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't let pride or fear rob you of the connections, the clarity, the breakthroughs that come from simply doing what your heart knows is right. Pick up the phone, have the conversation, take the leap, say the words, make the move. Because every time you do, you take back your power, you reclaim your freedom, you live a life that's true, not just to what you want, but to who you really are. And that's the kind of life worth living. Gratitude isn't a feeling, it's a choice, a mindset, a daily practice that can completely shift your life. Too many people are walking around waiting to feel grateful, waiting for everything to be perfect before they give thanks. But the truth is, if you're always waiting for better circumstances to be thankful, you'll spend your whole life chasing happiness and never catching. Gratitude isn't about having everything you want. It's about recognizing the value of what you already had. Because no matter what you're going through, there's always something to appreciate. Always something worth acknowledging, always something that could be worse. The most successful people aren't the ones with the fewest problems. They're the ones who have learned to be thankful in the midst of them. They don't let challenges blind them to their blessing. They don't let frustration make them forget how far they've come. Gratitude becomes their fuel. It becomes the thing that keeps them grounded, focused, and driven, even when life is hard. Because when you operate from a place of gratitude, you don't move like a victim. You don't carry bitterness. You don't complain about what you lack. You move like someone who knows everything is working for them, not against them. Gratitude changes your perspective. It doesn't erase the pain, but it shifts your focus. It doesn't eliminate the struggle, but it gives you strength to endure it. When you start your day with gratitude, you carry a different energy. You stop seeing problems as stop signs and start signs and starts for growth. You stop focusing on the gaps in your life and start focusing on the gifts. And those gifts, they're all around you. Your health, your breath, your mind, the people who care about you, the opportunities in front of you, the lessons from your past. But if you're not intentional, you'll miss them. You'll be so focused on what's next that you'll overlook what's now. So many people are praying for things they already have, but haven't appreciated. They're asking for more money, but haven't managed what they've got. They're asking for love, but haven't nurtured the relationships already in their lives. They're asking for peace, but haven't created space for it with gratitude. See, you can't be miserable and grateful at the same time. One will always cancel the other out. And the more you focus on what's missing, the more you'll feel empty. But the more you focus on what's present, the more you'll feel empowered. Gratitude is powerful because it humbles you and elevates you at the same time. It reminds you that you're not entitled to anything, and yet you've been given so much. It puts your ego in check and your heart in alignment. It reminds you that every day is a gift, not a guarantee. That every breath is a blessing, not a burden. And when you really internalize that, you stop wasting time. You stop complaining. You stop comparing. You stop chasing validation, because gratitude anchors your purpose. It gives you clarity. It gives you joy, not because your life is perfect, but because you've decided to see it through the right lens. There will always be someone with more success, more resources, more recognition, but there will also always be someone with less. The point is not to compare. The point is to be content, committed, content with what you have, and committed to becoming better. That's what gratitude does. It doesn't make you complacent. It makes you conscious of how much you've already overcome, conscious of how many answered prayers you're already living in, conscious of how powerful your presence is when it's not consumed by complaints. When you practice gratitude, you stop waiting for something big to happen before you celebrate. You learn to find joy in the small moments, the quiet morning, the kind words, the progress you've made, the peace you created. And suddenly your life feels richer. Not because anything changed on the outside, but because everything changed on the inside. That inner shift gives you the power to face anything, to keep moving, To stay grateful even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And in your darkest seasons, that's when gratitude matters most, when everything feels uncertain, when the pressure is on, when life isn't going according to plan. Gratitude is what keeps you from breaking. It's what reminds you, this may not be what I wanted, but I'm still standing. I'm still breathing. I'm still growing. And that's not weakness. That's resilience. That's strength. That's great. That's grace. And when you learn to lead with that mindset, you become unstoppable. So don't wait for perfect conditions to be thankful. Choose gratitude now, in the middle of the grind, in the middle of the fight, in the middle of the fight, in the middle of the unknown. Because gratitude is what transforms average into abundance. It's what turns ordinary days into sacred ones. Discipline is greater than motivation, and that truth separates those who dream from those who achieve. Motivation is a feeling. It's emotional. It's fleeting. It comes and goes depending on the day, the mood, the weather, the circumstance. Motivation is that temporary spark that gets you started, but it was never designed to carry you. Discipline, on the other hand, is built. It's a decision. It's doing what you say you would do long after the feeling you had when you said it is gone. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're not in the mood. It shows up. It executes. It gets the job done. People fail not because they lack goals or ambition, but because they rely on motivation to get them through. They wait until they feel like it. They wait until conditions are right. But the champions, the successful, the focused, they move whether they feel like it or not. They wake up early when they're exhausted. They stick to the plan when it's hard. They don't allow emotions to dictate their effort. They've trained themselves to be consistent, and that consistency compounds into success. You don't build a legacy on emotion. You build it on execution. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's often repetitive, boring, and quiet. It doesn't get applause. It doesn't go viral. But it works. It's what separates the person who talks about goals from the one who crushes them. Motivation might help you write your goals down. Discipline will help you complete them. Motivation might get you in the gym on day 1. Discipline will get you to day 100, day 365, and beyond. Because it's not about how excited you are in the beginning. It's about how committed you are all the way through. Waiting on motivation is like waiting on the weather. You can't control it, and it's not reliable. But discipline is something you own. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. Every time you show up when it's hard, every time you keep going when it's boring, every time you finish when you want to quit, you're building that muscle. You're teaching yourself how to win. And winning is not about one big moment. It's about 1,000 small moments of discipline that no one sees. Discipline is how you handle the days when nothing goes right, when you don't see results, when no one is cheering for you, when the voice in your head is telling you to take it easy, to give up, to try again tomorrow. That's the moment when most people fold. But if you've trained your mind with discipline, you push through, you move anyway. And that movement matters more than any motivation ever could. Success doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most disciplined. Talent is potential. Discipline is performance. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you're not disciplined enough to develop it, you'll never go anywhere. You'll keep starting and stopping, making promises you don't keep, letting your feelings run your life. But the discipline, they keep showing up. They keep building. They keep growing because they understand that consistency beats intensity. Doing the right thing daily matters more than doing a big thing occasionally. You can't build something great if you're only working when you're motivated. You have to grind when you're tired. You have to stay focused when it's slow. You have to keep going when no one is watching. Because real results don't come from hype. They come from habits, from routines, from a relentless commitment to keep doing what's necessary, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. That's when discipline is forged. That's when the breakthrough happens. Discipline is also what allows you to say no. No to distractions. No to shortcuts. No to anything that doesn't align with your goals. When you're disciplined, you don't need external approval. You're not chasing attention. You're chasing mastery. You're not trying to impress people. You're trying to improve yourself, and that level of focus requires strength, patience, and a deep understanding of your purpose. People admire discipline because they see the results it brings. But what they often don't see is the pain behind. The early morning, the late nights, the sacrifices, the missed parties, the quiet grind, and the internal battles. Discipline demands sacrifice, but it gives freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from excuses, freedom from mediocrity. And once you've tasted the rewards of discipline, you'll never want to go back to relying on motivation again. If you're serious about your future, stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel inspired. Start building the habits that move you forward. Discipline will get you to the gym, to the desk, to the work. Discipline will write the book, build the business, transform your health, shift your mindset. Motivation might start the fire, but discipline is what keeps it burning.